punting really well, and Max is, we've all got a lot to work on. So yeah, just another spring ball on the book. So last one too. So yeah.
So you're not injured?
No.
How's the punting? Better than ever?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, this spring's kind of been a big thing in terms of just getting my hands right, because it's probably one of those more so underrated things in terms of punting, just trying to get quick hands. So even with holding as well, I feel like I've made a lot of strides in terms of holding probably since kind of last spring, just being a lot quicker, which also transitions into punting as well, because having quick hands makes things a lot easier. So that's been a real big focus this spring.
Meaning you can get the ball off quicker?
Yes. Yeah.
More some accuracy. Was it harder this spring? How did that come
Yeah, so I think last year, or just in general, I mean, it's easy to kind of go out there and hammer a ball as far high as you can, but if it's straight down the middle, the returner is usually the best player on the team. I mean, you can see that with us and Cooper DeJean. So if I was kicking balls straight down the middle to Cooper DeJean, I'd probably have a bit of I'd probably have to make a few tackles, that's for sure, which I don't want to do. But
down here?
Yeah, just directions kind of is really going to be a big focus. Even moving into the summer, we're continuing to push forward as well.
How's Aaron done? Does he have experience at punter, and what have you done to kind of help?
I don't think so. He said he'd punted a couple of times in high school, but he's really taken off this spring. So it's been good to watch and been good to help him out as well.
I wanted to ask you about all the great punters in the Big Ten last year, and how did that ever help you? Just because you knew the competition was so good in the Big Ten, did you watch them very often?
I think so. I mean, whenever we're playing a Big Ten team, obviously we're scouting them in the special teams meetings and things like that, so you kind of know who the good punters are and whatnot, and you just hear the general word. But in terms of statistics and things like that, I'm never really worrying about what anyone else is doing, unless they're Australian. I'll kind of keep a lot of interest in terms of that. But I knew guys like Corsack and Barringer were performing well, Mirko was performing well. The guy at Michigan, I think, is a really underrated punter this year heading into the draft. Doesn't kick the ball necessarily as far as the others, but has a lot of hang time on his punt. So to answer your question more directly, I kind of know what's happening in the Big Ten, and there's a lot, especially probably the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot of guys that have been performing at a really high level. You look at Jordan Stout a couple of years ago. I mean, everyone saw him here when he was smashing a few balls. So there's a lot of talent in the Big Ten, which I think is good, because if you really want to test yourself, you've got to come to the Big Ten, because it's not fun punting in November, that's for sure. So if you can prove that you can do it here, you're going to go a long way, I think.
I know in Indianapolis I caught up with Bryce and Corsack and those guys, and they kind of all said the same thing. Just simply, you guys were kind of admirers of one another, and everybody's got different styles, and I didn't know if you took away much.
Yeah, I think there's real no one way to punt. There's a couple of guys out there that are robotic. You look at a lot of the older guys. I mean, Brett Kern, who just finished up with the Eagles this year, and was it Sam Koch, I think, from the Ravens a couple of years ago. Those guys are just like robots. I mean, they can just go out there and hammer balls every time, but I feel like there's kind of this younger generation. There's so many guys doing different things, and I think the biggest thing for me is probably the last year or so, just doing what I can do, or doing things that I'm good at, do you know what I mean? Because there's no point trying to go out there and imitate somebody else, because, like, I'm simply not him, like, I'm not Jordan Stout, like, I'm not Jake Kamado. It's just like, what things that, like, Tory Taylor does well that I can do, do you know what I mean? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.